Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we are playing blue-white tokens with no reserve list cards. We've got the simplest mana base I've ever registered. 4 Flooded Strand, 4 Prismatic Ending, 6 Island, 4 Plains. That's it. It's super simple. The deck is also pretty simple. Almost everything's a 4 of. We've got lots of token synergy in Stormchaser's Talent and Astrologian Planisphere and Legion's Landing, triggering Staff of the Storyteller, and that's our core engine. We draw lots of cards off Staff. We have late game in the form of Stormchaser's Talent or a flipped Legion's Landing or Astrologian's Planisphere, where we are equipping it to a token and just bashing in for a ton. We have tons of interaction in the form of back to basics because we're all basics, baby. We've got 2 Teferis to bounce stuff back to hand. Of course, the 4 Plows, 2 March of Otherworldly Light, which I prefer over Prismatic Endings in 2-color decks, and, of course, Force of Will. The other big card that is opinionated here is Spell Pierce. I think that you should be playing 4 Spell Pierce right now with the pre-ban meta. Granted, there is going to be a ban on in 4 days from recording, and I imagine Oops All Spells is going to be banned out of existence, and they may attempt to kneecap Blue-Black Reanimator as well. Until then, we have the 4 Grafdigger's Cage, the best thing you can be doing against those decks. We have 4 Force of Negation to defend Grafdigger's Cage after we've mulliganed for it from intrusive Thoughtseizes. Then we have a bunch of Hydroblast for red decks. We've got a couple Dress Downs for Construct decks. Our creatures are all pretty much, featureless tokens that just bash face, and they're all small, which means we can play Battle of Bywater as our board wipe. This card's pretty solid. You can get a lot of food tokens off of it, and you can selectively wipe your opponent's creatures. So the list is very simple. Should be a lot of fun. See you in round 1. Round 1, we're on the play. I am a huge advocate of looking up your opponents and what they're likely playing. However, MTG Goldfish is not working right now, so I will not be doing that this league. I'm instead going to be playing blind, which could hurt us significantly. This is a kind of sketchy hand. I don't like the fact that it only has 1 land. And with this kind of no reserve list, we don't have the luxury of dual lands, so we do need to have both blue and white mana for our deck to function. I think we mulligan this, sadly. This is much better. I'm just going to keep... I'll put the island on the bottom, and then this Prismatic Vista can be an island if we need it to be. And we'll just plop this island out here, and we'll see what they're on. See if we can quickly ferret out what they're likely playing. Just because somebody has like MTG Goldfish history does not mean they're on that deck. So often it will lead you astray, but it won't lead us astray this time. I'm going to pierce this. If I'd looked up here, I would have seen that they were on Yorion. So I've been playing against a lot of Yorion today, and it is tough. Yorion decks eat blue decks alive, in my experience. So I'm going to go ahead and stick the Planisphere. I don't think it's getting any better. If they want to remove it, they can. But we still have... The thing about like all of our token creators is they are game pieces that can be bounced and reissued with Teferi. So even if they take out the token, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, Swamp. Stoneforge Mystic. That is better than Bowmaster, which would have pinged this for very little value. I mean, you can still move this equipment around after the creature gets killed, but Caldera Complete. Okay, well, I've got that covered 2 ways. If I don't have the mana, if I don't have anything to spend the mana on, I'm tempted to just march this. I could just plow it. The problem is, like, a lot of stuff in their deck costs more than... Yeah, I think I'm going to march it. I'll go and get an island first, because our deck is more blue than it is white. We can just do this pre-combat. March of Otherworldly Light is really cool. It's a good card. It's instant speed, and it exiles, which I like. So now we can swing in for 2, and we can pass. The clock has started, however, that Caldera, it's not like they're playing Esper Vial, so they're not going to have Brainstorm to shuffle that Caldera back in. Overlord is really strong. They already have the Caracas. Yeah. Okay, we got... what did they put in their hand? Recruiter of the Guard? Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, this is going to outvalue what we are doing on our side of the table, and they've got Yorion, which immediately flips this. It's very scary. They could plow this in the upkeep. We drew a land. We don't have Surveillant in our deck because I wanted to fully lean into basics for the purpose of back to basics because we use a lot of mana. Sadly, we're just going to play this, attack, and pass. Our engine is not running. We will get it running later. We just need a staff, and then we're going to be in business. At this point, even if we find like a Stormchaser's talent, we can use the second level. We can even get up to the third level. We just need 6 mana to get to the third level, which basically is Shark Typhoon. Wasteland. Fine, no purchase here. Wasteland. Okay, this is going to exile our thing probably. No, they're not tapping double white, so it's not Skyclave. It is Skyclave. No, wait. No, it's just Recruiter. Okay, that's fine. Recruiter to go get Skyclave, maybe? I think they probably get Felia here. Flaker Wisp will do the same trick with Overlord. Very powerful interaction. All right, they are ticking down with Impending. Filling me with fear. I'm going to fetch the Thin. I'm going to fetch the Thin. I could draw a Brainstorm, but I've already got a fetch for that. And yeah, I want good cards, not lands. Okay, that is not the worst. So I'll just play it out now. These do see each other. And you can, like, if you want, you could, like, double equip this. And then we could plow, and then we could hit for 5 instead of 3. Do we want to do that? I'm afraid they're going to... they're almost certainly just going to flicker this. And then I have to plow that. Let's just go in for a hug. I'm not going to get too fancy here. Actually, I have so much mana, I think it does make sense to go ahead and move this over. There's the plow. Okay, and now we'll just move the other one over. We're going to use Diana is the equipped name. I guess that's a Final Fantasy reference. I don't know Final Fantasy at all. I never played it. I know I'm outing myself as not a true Scotsman. Another Overlord. We're so screwed. There's no way we can keep up with this value production. We're not going to be able to beat them down in time. I want to at least flip it so I can plow one of them. They still get value when we're plowing. They're going to bring back a Solitude. I think this is just like an unwinnable matchup, frankly. Like, this is so bad for us. I'm going to concede. There's no way we're catching up. Because they have Solitude coming back, like, when it re-enters. Yeah, just game over, man. Game over. This is the nightmare matchup. I actually think Battle of Bywater might be worth playing just because they go so wide. It's a pretty terrible card. Dress Down comes in. We're going to pull out the Spell Pierces. They're not good against the, 90% creature deck. Let's do it. Yeah, I guess everything else is fine. Back to Basics is not spectacular, but we can catch them in a greedy moment. I do think Dress Down's really good in this matchup just because it turns like their 2-for-1s into 1-for-1s, which you have to do if you want to be able to beat their deck. Their deck is just like the ultimate value city deck. Okay, this is fine. This is totally fine. I'm going to keep, and I'm just going to get my Legions landing out. It is always nice when you can like get value off of it, but it'll be all right. We are going to have to ponder for land number 3 next turn, but at least we're going to gain a life, hopefully. And this card does bounce right back to the hand with Teferi. They don't have a lot of 1-drops in the deck. It's probably, that is not an easy... Well, actually, we have Teferi to reset it, which is pretty good. All right, land, please. Stormchaser's Talon's not bad. However, we can't use it if we want to hit our Teferi next turn. I think it's more important to ponder and set up the next land. I would love to keep these cards, but we need land. I'm going to grudgingly shuffle this. Back to Basics, not strong right now. So next turn, we're quite likely going to have to look for land, which is pretty sad when we're playing 18 land. I thought about going higher, like 19 or playing, but I just wanted to fully commit to having tons of token generators in the deck. Stoneforge can't interact with it. Yeah, this Back to Basics is looking pretty pathetic in our hand right now. I promise the league is not going to go like this. This is just like an exceptionally bad matchup. I played a previous league with a mono blue deck that I stopped recording because I lost against this deck twice, but I did end up going like 3-2. So I won every single matchup that was not, oh, come on, deck. Don't do this to me. I'm not going to keep that. I think we're far enough behind that we've lost the game. I'm going to keep playing. But I genuinely feel like there's no hope. And this is something that like beginners may not recognize, like when they're so far behind that the game is hopeless. They fetch a basic plains. Okay, they didn't. So at least we can lock that down later when we someday magically have mana to cast this. So we're going to be under the gun here. I think they just put the Cauldron in. Unfortunately, Battle of Bywater doesn't kill Cauldron like it kills Baragorf and Nethergoyf and Murktide and like all the other big creatures in the format. I'm going to take this. We can gain some of it back when we swing. They don't have a blocker. They might put a blocker in. Brainstorm. Please don't Bowmaster me. I know you have a Bowmaster. Okay, they don't have a Bowmaster. And here we get so much land we don't even know what to do with it all. I think what we do is we just staff this turn. We get Teferi to bounce that token back to hand next turn. I don't want all these lands, but I do want 2. I think back to basics can go. It's just too little of an impact when they have 2 vials out. Dress down is going to be awkward to cast when we're tapping out for the next few turns. I think we let that go too. No, I'll just put one of the lands back. Yeah, we'll do like that. Now I'm going to go get a plains here. And I'll just play my staff. And I will attack for 1 here. It's free to do, and well, it's not free to do if they chump it. I think, sadly, I just have to hang back. Yeah, because like this could easily be Felia, which would completely rock my world. Okay, they didn't use it, but I still think, on principle, it was wrong to attack there. This deck that we're playing against has just everything. Like, tons of removal. They have tons of value cards, like this one where they just go get whatever creature they want from their deck. And then they also have Bowmasters, which is devastating. They may be getting Bowmaster right now. Bowmaster is particularly bad. Oh, they get Witch Enchanter. They're going to blow up our thing. That sucks for us, but we can still Teferi to get rid of the Germ here. But then they do have, they'll still be able to attack in and kill us. And if they... I think I double block here to get this material off the table. They could have Solitude, but like that's a 2-for-1. They'll kill the Lifelinker probably. Okay, they killed the Flyer. If we manage to somehow survive, it's going to be because my opponent like really screwed up. Okay, so now we need to decide whether... I think Stormchaser's Talent is the card that we want here. So I'll Teferi first. Bounce the actual Germ back. Draw a card. Plow is not bad. We're going to Stormchaser Talent here. This can bring back stuff later. We don't have good attacks. We're going to chill. I kind of knew when I signed up with like a bunch of 1/1 generating tokens that we were going to get situations like this where the awkward Witch Enchanter negates our ability to attack. As predicted, like we're struggling, like we have just too much mana and nothing to do. Or, too little mana and tons of stuff to do, whereas previous game we had the opposite problem. I hope they play a creature that actually dies to Battle of Bywater. If they go get Yorion, then we know we're entering the endgame, because they can do so much damage with Yorion, it's not even funny. Also, I think I do have to block if they attack with Witch Enchanter. I have to double block to protect Teferi. But then, like, how am I actually winning? They're 16. I don't think there's a practical way that I'm going to, like, manage to somehow race them at this point. Flipping Legion Landing would give me extra land. I think we just take our win here with... Yeah, I'm not going to throw both of my creatures in there to kill a Witch Enchanter. It will be annoying when it flips later. Are they getting another overland? Yeah, this sucks. This really sucks. So what I have to do is when Yorion comes out, I have to, like, dress it down. What do they get back? They get a Skyclave. They get another Stoneforge. Okay, another Vial. We're not playing a card that would be really good normally, Wrath of the Skies. The reason we're not playing it is because another battle. This will be good once this flips. Maybe this is not the right card to bring in for this matchup. Options. Next turn we can flip Legion's Landing. This turn we could go ahead and go up to level 2. But then that's all we do. We don't move the game forward in any meaningful way. I feel like they just have so much inevitability. Sorry, fam. I got to tap. There's no way we're winning this. All right, and I promise, I wouldn't concede that if I genuinely felt it's like a 2080 matchup. Like, this is the absolute worst matchup for us. See you in round 2. Round 2, we're up against a very skilled Legacy player, Harmony Woods, who is on a 61 card special. Almost always Tempo, which I think maybe we have a good matchup against Tempo. We can certainly outvalue them if the game goes long. This hand feels great. This is exactly the kind of hand we want. So assuming they don't combo our face off immediately, we'll be in a good position, because what we can do is we can hold up Pierce, and then we can Legion's Landing, continuing to hold up Pierce. Uh-oh. So they're probably... Oh, man, are they on another freaking black-white deck? I mean, the good news is they mold really deep. No, wait, they didn't. They just mold once because they were a 61-card deck. I'll probably take Back to Basics. I can't imagine Legion's Landing being threatening. It's only threatening in the context of, like, the synergy of our deck. It's not a great card. Yeah, they do take Back to Basics. Okay. Now they know to play around Pierce, so there's not a lot of value in holding it up. I think I am going to hold it up, though. Just anyway. I could brainstorm around a potential Bowmaster here. Another Thoughtseize. I am going to Pierce here. Okay. Now they're tapped out of Bowmaster, so I can go ahead and Ponder. Do I want to Ponder or do I just want to go ahead and Stormchaser Talent? I don't want to walk into a Daze. I'm not sure that they're not playing blue. It could be on Esper. Let's go ahead and do this now. I will take another Spell Pierce. Yeah, I said I'd take another Spell Pierce. I don't want to use it. I'm okay with... Well, actually, one Stormchaser Talent is probably plenty. All right. They are on blue, after all. So they're on like some grindy Esper tempo deck. Or maybe not even tempo. Okay, this is great. Hopefully they are not able to daze this. Definitely don't want to deal with this. Although it's not that bad against my deck. It's pretty annoying. They're down to 2 cards over there. Force blue card are the last ones. Okay, good. Yeah, definitely wishing that I had the Back to Basics. So I think here I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Planisphere. Then I'm going to play this out. I should have played Stormchaser Talent first, I think. This does buff this. I set it up to where like every creature is essentially a spell. It's a pity I can't fit Narset into this deck because Narset would never whiff. Never, ever. There's 0 creatures in this deck. Stock up. Okay. So next turn I can Planisphere and Stormchaser's Talent. Assuming they don't remove my stuff, I can quickly flip Legion's Landing. That's fine. Take the life against your Murktide deck. So there's not really any value in playing this Plains out, but there's not really any value in holding it. Because this is going to help us get to Stormchaser's Talent. Oh, I screwed up the sequence. Oh, I screwed up the sequencing so bad. That's so bad. Yeah, because I could have got an extra counter on my dude. Yeah, that was a bad punt. I'm going to tighten up. It's not like what I was doing was particularly hard. I just screwed it up. So this can get back instant or sorcery. It can't get back to basics, unfortunately. So I'm thinking there's probably a Murktide coming soon. Another stock up. Best draw. Well, I mean, we can always just get back a Ponder, and that feeds the Astrologians thing. What are they doing here? Bowmasters. This is a good card against us for sure. They're taking that out. Okay. Yep. That is a good card against us. Staff. Let's think about this. So if we equip first onto our prowess dude, onto our lifelink dude, and then we staff. No, I'm going to do it on the prowess. I'm going to keep the lifelink back. So assuming they don't have a daze, this is really good. We're in. I'm just going to attack with this otter this time because I would like to flip Legion's Landing. They are pretty low in life because of those double Thoughtseize. Well, one of the Thoughtseizes got countered. Brainstorm here. I am really afraid that they're going to find more Bowmasters. Snapcaster Mage, returning Plow probably. Yep. Best draw in the deck is some non-cantrip card because the Bowman, like a Plow would be the best card. They got a Tommy. Tommy is pretty good against our creature deck. I'm going to just take this. I don't have first strike or anything like that. Don't be a land. Oh no, land. All right, so let's think about this. I think the simple thing to do, we don't want to get our stuff pinged. It's probably just Stormchaser Talent and get a spell Pierce back. That doesn't seem very strong. I think we get a Ponder back. Yeah, and I'm not going to cast it this turn. I'm just going to get it for later. So what I can do next turn is I can equip both of these. And then when I cast Ponder, they won't be able to ping them. Because they'll get their buff counters before. Because that happens. Do you have a Brainstorm to flip it? That would be sad. I should have blocked there just in case they had Kaito. I think that was a punt. Sanctuary getting back stock up. Pretty good. Cracking the clue. Now they can stock up too. And they flip Tommy. Oh my goodness. Everything's going to hell in a handbasket. Stock up. All right. Okay, so more cards we can't cast. I'm going to go ahead and do this. Now I will just cast my Ponder. Should buff both of these first before we get to draw. And they do get to ping something, but it's not obvious what they ping here. I actually think that we want the Prismatic Vista first, and then next turn we use Legion's Landing to trigger both of these. They're probably just going to ping me. I can't really do anything here. Yeah, I think I just get Stormchaser's talent all the way up next turn. I will attack Tommy just to take one loyalty offer. We're pretty vulnerable next turn if they want to start attacking us. But we can at least keep them from attacking with all their creatures. I mean, they've got so much value over there. This Bowmasters has been such an ordeal. Killing one of our creatures and then just completely locking us down. Maybe I should have shuffled the Ponder trying to find a plow. My thinking is, if we ultimate Stormchaser's talent, as long as they can't bounce it back to hand with like a Teferi, we've already taken care of one of their Teferis. They may have a second one. If they can't bounce that back to hand, then we are going to just run them over with Otters. But a Prismatic Ending will end it. So yeah, I don't think it's actually a good investment. I think I probably should have shuffled the Ponder. Fury, when you catch your second spell of the turn, put a rally counter on it. Okay. So they're doing their own prowess thing over there. I'll just sacrifice this. We're so low in resources here. I can double equip this, then I trigger it. Okay, how are they doing that? Return stock. Oh, they just minus. Okay, they just minus. That makes sense. Okay, I want to take all this. All right, let's think about this. So we want to equip this. All right, so now it gets a counter when we draw our third card for the turn. I think first I'm going to Legion's Landing. We get a dude. Now we can Brainstorm. This is going to give it 4 more counters, I think. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Again, this may seem completely crazy, but this gives us a lot of triggers on this. And then we did find the second Ponder, so we can just Ponder and hit him for lethal here. That's fine. And now I'll just fetch. Get an island. Ponder. Okay, we won. I did not expect to win. I was like seriously considering conceding there. So Battle of Bywater is an option here, but they're mostly weenies. Dress Down is potentially okay. Back to Basics is quite good. I think Teferi is pretty bad against what they're doing. It's really like just puts us even more vulnerable to Bowmaster than we already were. I imagine they have Barragoyf in their deck. Murktide. I think Battle is probably okay. It doesn't strike me as great. I don't know. Like, Dress Down seems pretty good. Yeah, let's do the Dress Down. That was really cool, like seeing the line. Like, that freaking Planisphere card is strong. Okay, so this is a great hand. Fantastic hand, assuming they don't have Bowmaster. Even if they do have Bowmaster, we do have an answer. It's just slow. This hand is very slow. I think this deck is slow, frankly. All right, no Thoughtseize, turn 1. That's good. They did mulligan again. I think it's fine to just get on the board with Stormchaser's talent. I don't think there's any harm in doing so. I don't think they're playing Daze. So last game when we regrew a Ponder with Stormchaser talent, that was material. That did allow us to get the damage we needed on them. Also, another material thing was their decision to poke our Vampire with lifelink instead of... Oh yeah, there it is. I can't do anything. That's fine. They're walking right into my Dress Down should it resolve. Right. I'm just going to go ahead and hope that there's another land in store for us here. And staff. All right, I'm talking like a Texan. Not all Texans talk like that. I'm a Texan, obviously. But I don't talk with that twang. So sorry to my fellow Texans for my inadvertent slip into ruralism. Okay, so they're Loriening here. Please go for a non-basic. Underground Seed, love it. Come on. Don't freaking double Bowmaster me. I always take it. Never going to trade. I need these counters. I need these flyers. Land, please. Oh. All right, options. We just Planisphere, I think, is a good option. I don't want to lose my Spirit token here. They're forcing. If they're forcing, I'm going to let them force it. I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm just going to hit him in the face. Because, like, I can't activate my staff right now. It's difficult to like express how big of a pain it is to be a non-Bowmaster deck up against a Bowmaster deck. They are so vulnerable to back to basics. Please let me resolve back to basics here. I disciplinedly let them counter my spell with the hope that I would draw a land so I could do it. All right, here we go. This has to stick. I'm just going to come in for a hug. I will force a Teferi. I think that's the main thing they have that can get rid of this. There's their planes. We could get tempoed. I will march this if I need to. I don't like doing it, but I will. Another land would be great. I think we go ahead and march now. I'm going to wait. Because march can be done at instant speed, unlike prismatic ending, so we might as well wait. They may have Spell Pierce. I can't remember if they Spell Pierce. I think they play a card that's vastly superior to Spell Pierce. I will force to get this off the table. The card that's vastly superior to Spell Pierce is Thoughtseize, but you have to be playing black to do that. Okay, that's good for us. Now I'll force the second one that comes down because I need to go into staff heaven here. I need to staff up. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and attack first. I'm going to go ahead and do this, and then I can... Oh, wow, it just worked. That's great for me. Let's find a land. This is not land. I think as good as these cards are, these do need to be shuffled. Scooped. Whoa, Scoob. We're beating anything that doesn't have a freaking Yorion in it. All right. See you in round 3. This is a fun deck for sure. All right, we're back for round 3 against X88. I think they're a combo player. I can't remember. Again, my sensors are down. Auto land is off, and we are trying to bring us in for a nice smooth landing without the benefit of all that insight. I think here it's very clear that we need to hold the Stormchaser for force just in case. His hand's fine though. Again, I'm looking for land. I think maybe the land count should be 20. But I think I've cheated on land, getting it to 18 because we're a pure control deck. We really can't do a lot. Like land is a huge part of the deck. Yeah, so we'll use that to get a... but I'm not going to reveal any information right now. If they do like a mom or something like honest like that, then I'll definitely plow it. Underground Sea. Tommy. I think it's best to just wait and plow during my turn. Just in case they have the days, that'd be embarrassing. I'm not going to fetch right now because I want to get a land. I don't get a land. Okay, so I can play this out. I'll fetch. Plains. Plow. We don't mess around with Tommy. She generates value. It gets out of control quickly. I am going to... I'm going to ponder here. Need to find a land. This is exactly what the doctor ordered. We'll take the land now. They Thoughtseize us. They can take our staff, but they can't take our staff that's on top of our deck. Another Tommy. Don't flip her. All right. So they could very well have a... I mean, I sadly probably do need to just remove her and then force the Brainstorm if they have it. It's just too much of a beating against my deck to let her live. Gosh, that does get us really low. But we do reload with staff. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. Oh, what a relief. All right, and now I can go get a second plains. I'm going to need more plains than islands anyway. Some hands you do need more, even though inherently, like, I added a couple extra islands as opposed to extra plains. They could daze this for sure. They should daze this for sure if they have a daze. That makes perfect sense. And you could argue that I was greedy even playing that out. So we have staff into Stormchaser. But if the staff doesn't resolve, the Stormchaser doesn't do a lot. Don't Thoughtseize me. Oh no, they're going to take the staff. Yeah, so now we just have Stormchasers back to back. Which will be okay later. We can like regrow stuff. I mean, we get a clock. It's not a good card in this situation. I feel extremely unfavored. I think I actually am going to Brainstorm because I don't think this force is where we want to be anymore. All right, these are unfortunate. Luckily, we're all basics, so we don't have to worry about that. But like, this is not a good hand by any stretch of the word. So Planisphere is way better. I'm going to hide it to Fairy, and I'll put a Planisphere on top, and we're basically just going to Planisphere 2 turns in a row. But super awkward. Like, this is just what you get when you play all basics when you're on the budget. But we don't have the downside, the flip side of like getting wasted. Like, we just cannot be wasted. it's impossible other than for them to waste one of our fetches. So they did have a brainstorm, but they found it a turn too late, which is great for us. They know we have force. They may bait it out. Okay, they're on Esper. Tommy number 3. I'm going to let her go. Am I? Yeah, I just need to let her go. I don't know. It feels wrong to get into a force fight over her. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe because I am going to just be casting one spell a turn for the next 2 turns. I hope they force this and then I'll just jam another one. But keep in mind they are getting further ahead. I mean, this Stormchaser talent doesn't do a lot. At least I'm fighting with like Daze Protection. Okay. And now they can clear that, but I'll have another one on deck. That'll trigger that. So I will be able to put a damage on Tommy if they flip her this turn. Okay, they do have... Stoneforge. Okay, they're on Stoneblade. Interesting that we fought against 2 Esper control type archetypes in a row. I just feel guilty because I said X88 was a combo player. Maybe they were in the past. My memory may be betraying me here. Okay, and the card that they got was Caldra, which we can easily deal with, actually. That's probably the least scary thing they could have here. So I'll just Caldra next turn. Or I'll try to clear the Caldra next turn. I'm going to play the Astrologian, triggering this Astrologian, coming in for 2. And yeah, we will take the hit from Caldra, but then we should be able to bounce it back to hand, assuming they don't have interruption, a disruption in their hand, which they likely will have, frankly. I think this Teferi is unlikely to resolve. But if we draw a land, it increases the likelihood of us getting it through. We know they play Daze. We don't know how many. I play the cheeky one of Daze sometimes. Okay, they're putting the Caldra in. This is fine. They don't have a lot of land, which makes me think they have a lot of spells. This Teferi is very likely to get forced. It will buff both of these, though. And then we'll have 5 power attacking. They chose not to attack with Tommy. Interesting. Come on, land. So Stormchaser talent does it too, but I think we need to hold it. Let's see if this resolves. It's huge if it resolves. Okay, they have force. All right, we still get the ability. So I'm just going to come in for 5, and they'll probably block one on with Tommy, which is fine. But I'm not going to be blocking anyway. We are in dire situation here because, yeah. I guess I could have held the 2 back because they're definitely going to block with Tommy. Yeah. All right. There we go. 10 life. Actually, we're not winning the race because they have a blocker. But if we buff these next turn, which we're going to do, that might make a difference. They have that clue they can crack. They can not double clue here. Yeah, okay, they're coming for 6. This is exactly enough to kill us next turn, so we'll have this back to block one of these. But I think we're losing this race. Let's see what we draw. Okay, I'm going to go for it. Teferi in a row. That's super lucky. They have the freaking Daze. Oh, okay, good. Don't have it. Don't have it. Oh, that felt great. I love this kind of magic, by the way. Just like the clashing of bone and sinew. Can you feel it? All right. I think Pierce is still okay. They are lower to the ground. They are a 3-color deck, which we will punish. Teferi was insane there. I didn't see Bowmaster, but I presume Bowmaster's in there. Wait, I think they may have had... Was it this game that they had the Bowmaster and I exiled it? I can't remember, honestly. The game went on for quite a while. They didn't have a lot of land. They thought seized... Yeah, this wasn't the Bowmaster. There was no Bowmaster in this game, I don't think. Do we change anything? Dress down clearly good. I mean, Teferi is bad against the Bowmaster deck. And they have Daze. I think I take out Teferi. I think that what we saw was the absolute pinnacle of what Teferi can accomplish. Buff both your creatures and remove their Caldra. I don't think we'll get that lucky again. This is a really strong hand. Got those lands that we don't deserve. I'm going to keep this. And I genuinely think I misbuilt the deck and that we need like 19 or 20 lands. Because I've just been feeling like desperate for land the entire time. Yeah, that sucks. They're going to take Planisphere, I think, because it soloed them last game. Yep. It's a good card. They're just done with it. Like, what the... Okay, sure. I think this is a huge mistake. You don't put Surgical in against decks like ours. We barely even use our graveyard. We use graveyard exactly for Stormchaser talent. All right. To each their own. I mean, I might still lose to their deck. Legion's Landing gets on the table. Stormchaser talent, if we want to aggro them, and I think we do, yeah, I'm going to aggro them. If they have the Bowmaster, it sucks. But Spell Pierce wasn't going to stop that anyway. All right, I'm just going to do this thing. Wow, you don't have Bowmasters? All right, well, we'll come in for a hug. We have Spell Pierce up. We don't have March up anymore. It was funny. This anecdote, I was like using my iPhone. And I was typing in like my deck list while I was going for a walk. I was like, oh, we want to have 3 March. And I later, when I was trying to select the 3 March, I couldn't select it out of the iPhone notepad because it thought 3 March was a date. So it was treating it as a date object. All right, that's a lot of stuff. Well, I'm going to pierce this. Okay, I just scooped. Holy guacamole. We beat Harmony Woods. Extremely strong player 2-0, and then we just beat a Esper Stoneblade deck, which in theory should be generating way more value than we do. The reason we're playing this deck is because I am obsessed with tokens. It's not because tokens are necessarily good, but maybe they are good. Round 4, we're 2-1. This is a super greedy keep, frankly. Our opponent's already mulliganed. This doesn't have a force in it either. I don't think we can keep this. I don't know what our opponent's on. Again, we're playing blind, flying blind. This is another hand that does not have a force. It's a double staff hand. If we could, I mean, we don't get better hands than this if we find land. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep, I could put back March because we're definitely going to have to go for Island here, but I'm not going to mull deeper. Okay, Island, that's a great start. Nothing unfair ever came out of an Island. That is not a true statement. Okay, so I think what I do here is just chill for a turn cycle, just in case they do something degenerate. This gives me another window to draw. Wow, are they on us? Are they on our deck? I love Lorien Revealed and Islands. Tropical Island. Okay, so I think that they're just on Omnishow. Come on, make it happen. Go for it while I have my Pierce up. I'm not going to have it up next turn necessarily. Yes! Minsc Boo. I have profound respect for what you're doing, but I cannot allow it. I own 4 Minsc Boos. Don't daze me, bro. Oh, that is a favorable exchange. They're down to 2 cards. We got to find land, but then we go to Staff of Storyteller Heaven, where we just get regaled by this very ugly grandma with their staff. Okay, let's find that land, please. All right. Never didn't have it. I think we don't need these other cards. I just need to find land. These cards are fine, don't get me wrong, but like once we have the staff going, we're not going to care. So I think we hold up staff. Yeah, we can hold up Brainstorm and Spell Pierce here. I don't want to have to get an island, but I will if there's a pierceable object in the mirror. All right, let's go ahead and get the planes here. Just because we know we don't want to draw those cards. I should have done it during my upkeep when I had blue up, by the way. That was a mistake. Thankfully, our opponent does not capitalize on it. All right, I am going to go ahead and Brainstorm. All right, we're getting so lucky with my jank mana base. What the heck was I thinking playing 18 lands here? Yeah, I think we just start getting ahead. I'll put a staff on top and Stormchaser we can draw later. Teferi might need to come down next turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put back a Stormchaser talent, and then I'll put the staff on top. We're just going to go ahead and staff now. They're low enough in resources that I think this force will be sufficient, and I don't want to waste any more time because they're clearly like bigger stuff than us deck. And if they force this for some reason, I'll be thrilled. When I said I own 4 Minsc Boo, I want to clarify. I own maybe like 1,000 Magic the Gathering cards total. And I own 4 Minsc Boo. That's how much I like this card. If they ban Orcish Bowmasters, I will strongly consider playing Minsc Boo. I don't think he's super playable right now because of Orcish Bowmasters. All right, after about 4 minutes of deliberation, our opponent has opted to force pitching force, which is fine with me. I'm going to let it resolve. I just want to save this in case they have some other explosive volley. I don't know if I need to save it, but I'm going to feel pretty safe next turn after I stick. I probably want to hold this. Yeah, they don't play anything. I'll stick the other one. And I've got Spell Pierce up. And Force. I'm not going to go Stormchaser Talent yet. This is 3 mana for a Petty Theft. I'll just Pierce that. I don't want them to have that creature in exile. Okay, they scoop. Alright. So we don't know a lot about their deck. Other than that, Hydroblast is potentially good. Back to Basics is probably good. Teferi's probably good. I'm going to presume that they're going to be bringing in some Pyroblasts as well. I'd say Legion's Landing is the weakest of our token generation cards. If we can trim 2. I'm inclined to trim a Plow. That might come back to bite me. Let's do it. This hand's fine. So we got double Plow, or double Force if we need it. March probably doesn't do anything. Crashing Footfalls. Oh, okay. That's what we're doing. Alright, well, I'm fine with that. This will take out one of the tokens at instant speed for 1 mana. That's pretty good. Alright, so we are going to want to get a basic island with this. Maybe we want to lead with this. So if there's a spinning Crashing Footfalls... Now, the play last game makes total sense. They don't have any low value cards. Everything's 3 or greater. Okay, Island Cycling is fine. Yeah, and I kept March up just in case like we got some opportunity to use it, but I don't think we are. The land that they got was the Volk. I'm just going to go ahead and stick the Astrologian's Planisphere. See if I can bait interaction. They can't have Pyroblast. Not if they want their Cascade combo to work. Next turn we have Back to Basics. That is going to be solid. That will also buff this. If this, they could have Mystical Dispute, Crashing Footfalls taken down. Got 3 more turns on that. 2 more turns. This is a Force. Definitely don't want to deal with this dude. I'm going to Force pitch Force because I do think Back to Basics is going to be good. This is crazy that this like Force triggers this and like it's permanent. It's a permanent +1. This card is freaking pushed. All right, so sadly, I do think we have to Force back here. This Minsc Boo will just completely destroy us. Let's think about this. No, actually. So they get to plus it. We just march it, and then we attack and kill Minsc Boo? It doesn't work unless we draw another... Wait, so it's already a 2-2. It'll be a 3-3 once we've marched. The Minsc Boo will go down to 1 mana. Or 1... And then, yeah, I think it's safe to just... I think we do Force here. I think it'd be a mistake to leave this on the table. We're going to Unholy... Or March of Otherworldly Light. One of the dudes that comes out. As badly as you want to Back to Basics that, I think it is unnecessary to be so as aggressive as to do that. Because they have no resources now. They have 1 card in hand, and they have their Crashing Footfalls going off. Which, assuming we don't completely break and draw a land, we can... Like, we draw a Brainstorm or something here? It's just insane. Okay, yeah, that's fine. So that's their last card from hand. Oh. Oh my goodness. Alright, so this triggers the other one. This card is so nuts. What were they thinking? It's too powerful. Okay, you get some 4/4s that are babies compared to my hero tokens turn from now. By the way, how cool is this like witch? She looks super chill. I would be terrified to like ask her to dinner. I mean, yeah, I'll just let it through. Yeah, I'll just let it through. I'm going to be killing one of these next turn. I guess I could just kill one now. Just to save mana. Because I might draw like a Brainstorm into something. Like if I get some sort of cantrip chain going. She's going to get stronger. Her friend's going to get stronger too. They're going to do something here. Mystical Dispute. That does stop me from exiling it, but it doesn't stop the ability. Okay, so I was right in naming Mystical Dispute earlier as a card we needed to be aware of. I think we hold this in our hand, and if they want to attack, we just kill one of them. They don't know that it's not going to be a complete blowout when they attack. Yeah, we bricked. That's unfortunate, but I'm not going to play it out. Yeah, we're going to lose. How are we going to lose against this? This is crazy that we're losing this, but we are going to lose this. They could just attack with overwhelming force here. Oh, they're just throwing the thing. Drawing 4 cards. Yeah, that works too. No wait. If that creature was a hamster. They're just... That doesn't work. It just does 4 damage to us. I think they didn't realize that. I thought they thought they were gonna draw 4 cards from that. That was not a good play. Now they don't have good attacks. Alright, come on, deck. Give us the goods. Oh, that's good. So, let's think about this. I think we just attack with the hero. Oh gosh, what do we do here? We need to kill Minsc Boo. Let's see, if we attack, they may just double block and kill our hero, which I'm fine with. Yeah, maybe this is a reckless attack. That's fine. Now I do definitely need to kill this before passing the turn. Yeah, maybe that was a loose attack. Because now they can hit us for 6, and they may have some way to like just like what is it called? Violent outburst or something like that. Put even more power on the table. So they can only... Okay, they're just not attacking at all. This is good for us. I don't think we deserve to win. Holy cow, these draws are so terrible. I'm just going to chill. I think I do play out this land. Yeah. Now we're just going to chill. Eventually they will be able to break parity if they get lucky and draw one of their things before we draw. But if we start to cantrip chain, it's really good. Okay, they suspended Crashing Footfalls. It just doesn't have a mana cost that you can pay it normally. So I think we win this game, assuming we don't completely continue to brick. The odds of me drawing a Brainstorm are higher than fetching to Thin helping me. Spell Pierce. Not what we needed. We have to chill. I'm going to chill with this Plains in my hand just because if I draw a Brainstorm, it's really good. I don't think that this is... Like, this will stop like a follow-up Minsc Boo if they're playing like 4 of them. They're dealing it to us. Okay. I guess I could have pierced that just to get more toughness on the board. I can't stop that side. I should have freaking pierced the first side. So now that comes in. And yeah, I should have pierced the first side. Now I got this pierce stuck in my hand that doesn't do anything. Come on, deck. Please give me something other than a land or a reactive spell. Okay. So this, I think, deals 2 damage to us. If we attack, we take 2. They can't quite kill on the crackback. Unfortunately, this Pierce, we just can't convert it into counters. I think I'm just going to attack. Then I'll be ready to take the damage off this when they attack and then trade with the Rhino. Let's see what they do here. Okay, that is very good for me, because check this out. This is what we call a blowout. Kill this. And we have to take 2 damage. But all their stuff dies. And they're waiting around for a Crashing Footfalls to trigger. Yeah, that's pretty good for us. I'm just going to chill. I think we just won the game. But they could draw another Minsc Boo, which we can pierce. If they try to Bone Crusher Giant, I will pierce the front side. Wow. Yeah, this deck freaking cooks. We haven't lost a single game except for those ones we lost against the Yorion deck. Which, again, I genuinely think that we always lose those. That deck is just incredibly difficult to beat if you're a fair strategy. It's the Apex Fair deck. See you in the final round. Final round, we're up against somebody who decided to just use a string of numbers as their number, or as their username, which is usually a sign of somebody that's just grinding for trophies, so they're playing a super degenerate deck. We can't keep this no-lander. Force of Will would be welcome. This is a Pierce hand. I'm going to keep it. Let's put back this Plains. And I think in theory, like, you could make money just being a moto grinder. Not how I would like to make money, but like, I'm speaking from a position of relative privilege. But like playing decks like Mississippi River or Oops All Spells or something like that and just trying to get trophies. Okay, this is Ponder. That's fine. So this is a fair deck. This is not a grinder. And grinder doesn't always just mean somebody who's trying to like farm EV. Because like, if you can play an entire league of Oops All Spells in like 40 minutes because the deck is so broken and just wins really quickly or loses really quickly, and if you 5-0 that and you get like, I think you get like 11 treasure chests, and the expected value of those treasure chests is like 2 tickets each, maybe like 1.9 or something like that. You sell those, you make like $10. you can make $10 in 40 minutes. That's not bad, but you're not guaranteed that. And you also get like play points and other stuff that allow you to keep going. So I think you probably can go infinite with just the play points if you're good at playing Oops All spells. And then, yeah. And then there was like in Vintage, there was the thing where people like trading wins or something. I don't know exactly how it works, but basically there were so few people playing Vintage that these decks would queue into one another and one would just concede to the other one real quick. And then somehow, like in doing so, the prizes were such that it was worth doing that. Like always conceding to the player that was most likely the trophy. So if you already had a loss or two and you queued in with somebody who was like 4-0, then you just concede to them and then they get the payout. But in fact, you control both of the accounts. I think that's how it works. Just trying to fill time while my opponent spends a huge amount of time pondering here. All right. Island, not really what we want to see. My instinct is to just chill for another turn cycle. We're dropping lands. We can pay for days on our Spell Pierce. If they have Beanstalk here, I'm going to tamp down on that. They could absolutely have Bowmasters here. I think it's prudent to wait. I'm getting some serious server lag. Maybe my opponent is also getting similar server lag. Maybe that's why they're taking so long to make decisions. I think I'm just going to wait. I think they're most likely on Blue-Green Omnitel. I guess I could go ahead and ponder and just test the waters here. Because a lot of times people will try to snipe that. Oh, this is freaking phenomenal. We don't want the Strand. I will take the Teferi next turn just in case they thought seize me. Because that's the real card that is going to be powerful against them. Actually, do we want to just jam Planisphere? I think that'd be irresponsible. I think I'm going to hide the Planisphere, actually. And I'll put Teferi in hand. Brainstorm is going to be the pitch, but if I resolve a Planisphere, it may make sense to... Now I'm kind of thinking like maybe I should just jam the Planisphere. Sorry about that noise. I'm restarting. Okay, I'm back. I lost about 5 or 6 minutes of clock, unfortunately, but I am going to not fetch away the Teferi. It seems way too good here. I suspect, again, that they're on Omnitel based on that trop. And if they are, I want to be able to resolve a Teferi with Spell Pierce backup and then have Force, and then they're never going to be able to veil me. They don't do anything but play a land. Yeah, this is a very, very clear combo player. Like, not committing anything to the board. I mean, they probably think I'm on combo too, based on actions, but... All right, even though I restarted, I'm still getting this lag, so I may lose this due to time, unfortunately. I'm going to do my best. I've just been having, like, persistent issues with MTGO working behind the China Great Firewall, the censorship wall. And I may have mentioned this in previous video. I'm here visiting family before I go on to Japan, and for whatever reason, MTGO running inside of a Mac on an emulation of a PC just chunks. They don't have any servers in Asia. They just have the servers in, I think, Seattle. Daybreak may have spun up a few more servers, but like I think the round trip to Asia and back is significant, and then just the weirdness with the packets is another issue. Like when you're doing deep packet inspection and all the things that the Great Firewall does, which you circumvent through a proxy. Okay, so we are going to attempt to force... This card has to resolve. It's so strong. What do they pitch here? They pitched Omniscience, so they are on their unfair plan. I'm going to pitch the Brainstorm here so I can follow up with the Spell Pierce. So you have to use a proxy to essentially like burrow underneath the traffic. This sucks. Yeah, they double the... What's this? Auroral Procession. Return target card from the graveyard to your hand. Okay, so it's like a blue regrowth. That is very cool. All right, well, this resolves. I just have to hope they go for it here. And then I can stop it. They're fetching, probably Surveil. Now they have a better idea of what my deck's capable of. Impulse, that's fine. I'm not going to pierce that. I'm going to pierce the actual show and tell. So I didn't get it. Like, I don't think it was correct to pitch the Brainstorm. Or no, I don't think it was wrong to pitch the Brainstorm. Because we'd be completely defenseless without the Pierce. But it may have been wrong to just force. Maybe I should have just taken my 2 for 1. Yep, that's the show and tell. Here's the Spell Pierce. How do we do, folks? We stopped it. Okay. So now it's just a question of how quickly we can beat them down with this Astrologian's Planisphere. It's not looking to be very fast. I'm going to keep this island just because of Brainstorm equity later. I'm likely going to need to Brainstorm into Cantrip several times in order to be able to get this big enough to kill them. They're at 16. Very healthy life total. If they find another show and tell, we're just dead. Ponder. So we can assume that they have something to put in. Probably not Omniscience, but probably Emrakul. The fact that they're splashing green so hard does mean that Back to Basics can be relevant. And they've brainstormed after their Ponder, so they are cantripping their faces off. All right, we're going to get a turn. It's hard to know how much damage we're about to incur. We're drawing wild. Oh, it's tragic. I'll play it out. Just hitting for a measly 1 damage here. They're seeing we've seen the ceiling of this card, and now we're seeing the floor. We do have Hardcast Force represented. Maybe they don't go for it. I think the odds of them not seeing a second show and tell by now are pretty low. They may just be like lining up protection for it. So if we did find like a Brainstorm, that would be really huge because that would put 2 counters on this thing. Okay, now they have tons of mana. I'm not going to fetch the thing. Yeah, that's not good. I seriously doubt this is relevant because they've got that Ancient Tomb out. Like if we drew Force, we could play with the island and then we could have Force plus Ancient Tomb. But this is getting back show and tell. We're dead. I'm just going to see what they do here. I can't interact with this, sadly. This is a cool tech. Like, because it pitches to Force and it's an instant, so it's way better than the original. I'm going to keep this Bell Pierce in hand. Well, if they have Omniscience, maybe they tap. I'm not going to put anything in. We're just dead to Omniscience. Cutting Wish, yeah. You've seen this song and dance. Let's go to the next game. I'm going to presume that your sideboard has been constructed in a way that you have something that wins the game with Omniscience out. Okay, so here we bring in the Force of Negations for sure. I think that's really all we bring in. Take out the Plows. It is possible that they... yeah, we'll just take these out. I think that's probably fine. Back to Basics will carry some water here. Dress Down is just not where we want to be. Like, sometimes they'll bring in cards like Vesuvian Doppelganger or something like that. It's not worth going after that. So I think that game was ours to win or lose, and it was ours. It was ours to lose. I think that's how the expression works. And I think I somewhere along the line screwed up. Like, I don't think we should have forced that Teferi. The Force on Teferi. They would have had the Force for later, but maybe we could have brainstormed and like at least gotten some pressure on the table. I don't think they necessarily had my number, and I think a superior player would have navigated that to a victory. All right, we're back. We're on the play. We've got a great hand. It doesn't have any interaction, but it does have initial pressure in Stormchaser's talent. I think we Stormchaser's talent just to get on the board doing something, and then we ponder next turn. Because their deck doesn't seem to be in a hurry to combo. And this can be used later, late game. Assuming we get to a late game state, we could, potentially regrow a Force with it or something. We absolutely could have staffed first. Maybe that was the play. I don't know. I think generally you do want to staff first. Maybe I should have just pondered for a Force. They can go for it as early as turn 3. Okay, another staff. Our options are to... I think we probably want to ponder here. Because Spell Pierce, lots of things we could find here that would be good. I think Spell Pierce is good enough. We just shuffle away these other cards that are good but not exactly what we need. So now we have some interaction. So we're hitting for 2, which is not nothing. So if we don't have to fetch an island, well, we're going to have to ponder and find a third land anyway before we comfortably deploy the staff. I'm not going off Spell Pierce for the rest of the game. They're going to Lorien Cycle. And it's not Brainstorm, that's aggressive. That tells me they're probably close to doing it. It's fine. I don't care if you break your Brainstorm. It's not worth me speculating that you don't have a second land. with my sole piece of interaction. That's one thing I've learned, is it's rarely worth going after brainstorms and trying to, brainstorm lock them. It's funny, like when I first started playing, like back in the first started playing Legacy after a long break, I started playing with Rug Delver, and it wasn't called Rug Delver back there. It was called Canadian Threshold. Actually need to get a plains or an island here just in case. Yeah, but we know we don't want those cards on top. Okay, perfect. We got the plane. So now what I can do is I can just staff, and I've still got my Pierce up, and then next turn if I find a land, I can back to basics with Spell Pierce Protection, but that may not be good enough. We'll see if they play another non-basic. I would love for them to like get into a force fight over this. In my opinion, this is just not what the game is about. Like, they shouldn't be trying to stop me and control me. They should just be trying to win. So we do have a little bit more pressure on the table now. I'm already coming up with lots of ideas of how I think I can improve this deck. And I think going up to 19 lands, maybe 20, probably 19, is a step in the right direction. That's fine. Go ahead and spin your wheels while I beat you down. This game definitely gets better for me the longer it goes on, because staff is online. I can staff a second time, deal 3 more damage to them. But I think I need to ponder to find a land first. Okay, that triggers the Otter. Otter's getting wild. There's a land. That's what we want. I think what we do is we just staff again. It's worth noting that next turn I will have 3 creatures out, so I could play staff, Legion's Landing, attack, and then immediately flip it. And then I have tons. I have the ability to create a creature for my staff every single turn cycle. All right, I just spent about 3 minutes resolving this ponder. Sorry, my excellent friends. I'd like to keep this seamless and not pretend that that's happening for your viewing enjoyment, but I also want to explain why I just lost so much time on my clock, just in case it comes up where I lose due to clock. Okay, so we're going to do this. We have Spell Pierce as our sole point of interaction here. However, we have so many permanents that even if they get Emrakul going, like we could survive an Emrakul strike. We can't actually remove that Emrakul though. We could Teferi Emrakul back to hand. That's not going to happen with the current configuration. All right, our staffs trigger one another. We're going to swing in for 4 here. I'm very excited about this Legion's Landing next turn. Assuming we live that long. Yeah, that's fine. They're going to buy back their thing. Oh, Impulse is fine. Yeah. Again, I'm going to save this Pierce for exactly show and tell. Okay, they brainstorm. They still haven't seen back to basics. My hope is that they do tap out and think like, oh, it's no big deal. I can just go again. Okay, so this tells me they probably have a Veil. We have no choice. We just have to play into it. They force. All right, this is probably Omniscience. I will put my back to basics in. If it's not Omniscience and if it's something else like an Atraxa, we might be able to fight through that. We're not going to be able to fight through Emrakul, I don't think. We do have a ton of permanents in play. Yeah, there's the Emrakul. I'm trying to think of how we beat Emrakul. All right, well, it's going to start with, let's see. Yeah, literally the only thing we can do here, I think, is brainstorm into one of our 2 Teferis. All right, let's think about this. So, we Legion's Landing. We attack. They only take 2. They attack us. We sack a bunch of stuff. We're still alive. Okay, so I'm going to put these back. These are done. Play this out. I'm going to fetch. Just see if I can find. If I get lucky off this, I might be able to find a Teferi. Planisphere. Interesting. So we could go ahead and Astrologian's Planisphere first. This comes in and triggers that. We're getting to show off like kind of like the what? All right. All right. The card they pitch is another show and tell. I saw Born Upon a Wind in there as well. This is going to be a heck of an Otter, but unfortunately it's going to get blocked just the same. So this comes in, creates a dude, procs our staffs. Now we just attack with everything we can. This flips the Legion Landing. So they just take 2 here. I will flip it because this means that I can use. It won't untap, but it will give me a trigger here. They take 2. They drop to 5. Go ahead and use this now. Force, okay. Doesn't help us. I don't think it's going to matter this game, but we got a bad draw out of the way. So I think the way we win, they're at 5. Planisphere, and then equip. That's going to take too much mana. We're going to have to sacrifice back to basics. Probably sacrifice Stormchaser talent, a whole bunch of land. Okay, so let's figure this out. Back to basics goes. Stormchaser talent goes. There's no way we're going to be able to level this up. Let's think about this. Yeah, it's not going to be good enough. We can sack this. This doesn't untap. Wait, it does technically untap, but I still don't think it... Wait, if it untaps, it's probably worth keeping around, huh? I think these are too late. We need enough mana to cast Teferi if we draw him. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I guess. Yeah, we'll do it like that. Now we go down to 3. Yeah, it has to be exactly Teferi. I think that's the only thing that saves us here. We can staff. It's not going to change anything. We could sacrifice everything and block. Let's see. Let's go ahead and staff. I might as well draw. Okay, we'll play with this land as a card that we can sack. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if they attack, we can technically win. They have to clear this, and then we just win. Let's think about this. So they could, in theory, like remove the spirit if they had like some bounce effect. If we keep this second one back, we do 2. Then we win next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So I'm just going to attack for 2 here, and then I can attack for lethal next turn. I've got less than 5 minutes to win, and my server is going crazy over here. But there's no point in conceding because there's not going to be a game 3 if I don't win this one. I say my server. The server is taking forever to reply to the packets I'm sending them through this extremely Byzantine rigmarole that I'm using to communicate. I had almost no latency the first 4 rounds, which I'm grateful for, but all right, MTGO actually like completely evicted me, and I had to completely reconnect. So I decided to go ahead and attack with all but one of the spirit tokens. So this way, it makes it to where they can't tap Ancient Tomb anymore, and they're still dead. Like I feel like if they can get rid of this, they win anyway. So I'm just gonna F6 through the turn again. Like 0 chance of us being able to close out this game, but I want to see if we can win this game. Show and tell again. Okay, that's fine. Do you have another Emrakul? What are you going to do here? Oh, they have this. This is a creature that can do stuff. Keep them alive. Return 2 target. Okay, so they survive. Yeah, that wins. Okay, good game. So let's talk about the list. The list felt great. I think what we do... That was a 3-2. I think had I not had the server lag and all that stuff, maybe I would have been a little bit more with it during that final round, but it was like really oppressive. One of the leagues that I did not publish was a league where I got like a 5-minute delay in the middle of resolving a Cabal Therapy, and when I got back, I was like, Cabal Therapy, and I like literally typed Cabal Therapy into the field, and Cabal Therapy for Cabal Therapy against a Bant Beanstalk opponent, and it was very embarrassing, and yeah, so I didn't publish that league, just like... That was a good league. I had a positive record, but I was just so embarrassed by that. I just stopped recording. So let's take a look at the list. The most immediate thing that occurs to me is that Legion's Landing is not a legacy power level card. It's a modern power level card, and I don't even know if it's played very much in modern. It is a good card, but having redundant ones, probably not necessary. I think this might be a one of. And then what we can do is we can grudgingly add a non-basic to the deck. I think there were lots of situations where I was like, if only I could fetch, a basic land here. So if we add some Scalding Tarns, and then we add a Meticulous Archive, now we're up to 19 lands. And then you could say, oh, well, you're not playing enough creatures that actually, or cards that actually trigger tokens. And I would definitely agree with you there. It's not clear what we should do about that. One option is Wandering Emperor. She's pretty awesome. She's a cool defensive card. She's good for long games. It does really stretch our mana base pretty wide to have her, but she creates tokens. And then we could also throw in a Narset. One of the things about the deck is it's not playing any creatures, so Narset feels like a pretty good win. The other thing to note is Astrologian's Planisphere is really good when you equip it to True Name Nemesis. I don't know that we should play True Name Nemesis, but I'm not saying we shouldn't. Like, it is a cool card. So we could take out like a Teferi, which is a redundant thing. And then we can just have kind of our smorgasbord of one-ofs. The Legion's Landing, the Narset, the Teferi, the Wandering Emperor. Yeah, so I think I'd probably play this list. True Name Nemesis has been really good for me. I think he's a really good card right now because nobody's playing Dress Down, and he comes in, and if you can equip Planisphere to him, it's game basically, because he gets so big so quickly, and they can't remove him, and they can't block him. So this way, we're kind of honoring the token origin with 15 or 13, I guess, token related cards, but we're also getting a creature that can kind of help close. And also, True Name Nemesis is very good against Tamiyo, whereas Tamiyo is a huge pain for this deck. You can't actually get rid of Tamiyo with March or with Teferi. There's not really a good answer to Tamiyo in this deck, now that I look at it. You could play Prismatic Ending in place of March, but it's significantly weaker without the ability to go up to 3. Like, I find myself going up to 3 all the time with March of Otherworldly Light against like Moon Stompy and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. We just don't have a good answer to Teferi. We saw Teferi several times during the league, and we basically just had to kill her on sight before they flipped her, or hope that they didn't have the brainstorm to flip her. There was one situation where we were able to successfully plow Tamiyo, and then they drew a brainstorm like the turn later. Like, I could tell that they would have brainstormed there had they had the option. So yeah, if you're going to play this type of deck, just be aware that Tamiyo is really good against you, because you have this army of tiny little creatures that don't do anything with the debuff of ability. I think dropping down to 1 Legion's Landing will address that a little bit. We did get to flip Legion's Landing once in the final game, which was really cool, because it just, we were able to immediately tap it to draw a card. So everything worked out. Like, that last game was really awesome. And I'm really glad that we were able to survive one Emrakul strike, even if they did ultimately have the answer. I feel like that game could have very well have gone our way. We still weren't going to win the match because of the clock. But I had a real fun time playing this list. We played against some really good players, and I encourage you to continue to tinker, especially with these no reserve list cards. Like, why not up the difficulty for yourself a little bit? And you get really good at sequencing and fetching. Legacy players often are kind of spoiled by all the dual lands. They don't necessarily have to think as much about like mana sequencing, but if you can get in some reps with decks like this, I think it'll probably make you a lot better when you're wielding, all the duels later on. So, and this is a great entry point if you're just looking for, like, I don't know how expensive this deck would be. I can tell you that, I don't know. This might be like the Prismatic Vista, ironically, is like the most expensive card in the deck, I think. But yeah, I think it's really solid, and I encourage you to pick it up, and I encourage you to, until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.